Today we're going to be making a crispy oven pork belly. Now, I need to tell you, this takes 24 hours to marinate. So today we'll do the marinating process, and tomorrow we'll actually do the cooking of the pork belly itself. But to begin with, we're going to pat the pork belly dry. We want to make sure that we can get this as dry as possible. Now you notice I've put the fat side up, and that's because the next step in our process is we're going to be working with the fat. We're going to score that fat up. All right, we're just going to come in, make sure we've got it nice and dry. And that's great. Now, to score the pork belly, we're going to just come down and make some little lines in the fat like this, horizontally, using a very sharp knife. Watch out for your fingers. And then we're going to come back and we're going to score the other way. So, we're going to score across this way. And what this is going to do is it's going to help that skin crisp, but it's also going to let all those nice marinated flavors get deep into the meat, which is how we want it. All right, I'm just going to make sure that those are deep enough. Yeah, those feel pretty good. This one could be a little deeper. There. And see how that kind of separates out? And it's going to let that marinade that we're going to make next go right down into those layers of meat. The next step in the process is to make our marinade. Now, what I have here is I have a mixture of some sherry wine, and we're going to be putting in some other items. A teaspoon of white pepper. We're also going to put in a teaspoon of salt, just regular old salt. And here's the secret ingredient. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of Chinese 5 spice. So there's 1. Get another one poured out here. And 2. We're going to mix this up. I can tell you that smells amazing already. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Somebody please invent this for me. Okay, we'll be back in just a second to show you what we do next. All right, now that the pork belly is scored, what we want to do is we want to just kind of come over here to the side, and we want to poke a little bit of a few holes deep into the meaty part. Again, this is going to be marinating. We want to make sure we get that flavor in as far as we can. Just giving it a little bit of a chance to get in there. All right, now we're going to take our mixture, not to the top. We want to keep the top intact, but we want to get our mixture all over the bottom of this pork belly. I've taken some tin foil and I've made a little tin foil boat for my pork belly to sit in. And I'll show you this in just a minute. Once we get it rubbed, we're going to place it right in that little boat. So let's go ahead and get our pork belly rubbed down with this mixture. Just the bottom again. Don't worry about the top. We're just going to put this all over the bottom. Make sure I get every bit of that in. All right, now I'm gonna flip this over onto my boat to finish working on it. The next step in the process is we want to get that skin rubbed down with some rice wine vinegar. So we're gonna go ahead and use a pastry brush. And we're just gonna brush this all over the top of this pork belly. I want to make sure we've covered all the fat. And now we're going to take our kosher salt and we're going to pour that over the top of our pork belly. This is our marinating process. All right. This is going to be set up in the fridge, uncovered, just as it is in its boat for 24 hours. And then we'll be back and show you what the next step in the process will be. So here's how our pork belly looks after it sat in the fridge for 24 hours. We're going to go ahead and get this into our little oven here. We're going to do it at 310 degrees. We're going to say 15 minutes and check it, but we might go 20. So let's go ahead and get started and get preheated here. And we're going to pop this in and we'll show you how it looks in just a minute. I've put it on 400 degrees and I'm set the temperature for the time for 30 minutes, only because I want to check and see what it's doing after 30 minutes, because we are in a convection environment here. And that's why I am doing it at 400 here in the convection oven. So we might need a little less time, but we'll check it out and let you know. Our pork belly is starting to get a little dark on the top, and yet it has a little bit more time to go to finish cooking. So what we're going to do, just like your Thanksgiving turkey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to tent it so that we don't let it get any darker while we finish cooking it. This pork belly still has about 15 to 17 minutes more to go before we're going to consider it cooked. We're going to check the internal temperature of it and make sure we're where we need to be, but that should work out fine. So our pork belly is done. I'm getting temps all over the place, but for the most part, I think as it sits and rests, I'm anywhere from 150 to 180. So I think we're going to fall right in that sweet spot. Now what I do want to show you is, in this particular video, I have a little bit of darkness here on this top. And ideally you'd want this to be more of a lighter brown, not really a dark color like this. And I think where I went wrong is that I put that initial temperature at 190, but I was in a convection oven. So I think for a convection oven, it's going to have to be dropped down, and you'll have to make that adjustment down to probably about 170. And then I think what I would have done is I would have covered it right from the beginning, and then I would have achieved that beautiful golden brown color like we have in the picture that Nicole made. So this is still going to taste fantastic, but I wanted to let you know what I would do differently so that you can make the adjustments, and we'll note this in the recipe for you all as well. I'll be back to show you when we can cut into this and what it actually looks like. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Let's let it rest for a few minutes. Let's come in and make some cuts. That looks pretty good, looks pretty juicy. Now I know my end pieces are going to be really salty because you can see some of that salt cap was still stuck to the ends that was hard to remove, but let's just give it a little try here. It's really hot. All right, I'm going to give this, cut it just a little bit smaller. It's too hot for me to hold. All right, so I'm going to give this a try. That is delicious. Salty, fatty, pork, Asian flavored. I could see this sitting atop an Asian salad. It would be amazing in a soup or just on its own. Thanks for watching For the Love of Food.